How's everyone doing? Today I have a Blu-ray and DVD update. There's a few that I haven't seen in here, so once I do view them, I will do a proper Blu-ray DVD update talking about them more in depth, but I have seen a few of them, so I'll go ahead and show you. And if you've seen any of these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them as well. Thumbnail face. Alright, first up, from Warner Brothers, this is out on the 28th of April. This is Inherent Vice. This is the newest film from Paul Thomas Anderson. I'm a big fan of his. There's a couple films I wasn't a big fan of, but overall, I think he's a fantastic director and auteur. This film, though, was dialogue heavy. It was a little long. It's 2 hours and 28 minutes. I thought it should have been edited a little bit. Editing is your friend sometimes. But this movie overall had a lot of good points to it. I'm going to talk more in depth about it in a proper, just full-on movie review for it. I will say it kind of reminds me of Robert Altman meets Hunter S. Thompson a little bit. And I think the cast did a really good job in here. The cast was star-studded. There was just, every time you looked around, there was another cameo from somebody, another recognizable face. So this one overall had a really kind of neo-noir kind of feel to it. He's a detective. There's a whole bunch of mystery. There's one thing too. So much stuff kept, one thing led to another thing, and it all kept tying together. It was just a little bit too much of that. It kind of reminded me of like the old serial detective TV shows back in the day too. And actually there's so many people in here. I was like, holy moly. There's even I'm not going to spoil, but there's a ton of recognizable faces in here. But one thing too I noticed about this cover is just fantastic. Whoever did the artwork for it, great design right there, very eye-catching. I think this would make a beautiful steelbook as well. But I'm going to talk more in depth about this for a full-on movie review. Next up is The Barber. Right here. I haven't seen this one yet, but the trailer looked awesome for it. Basically, it's about this guy who I guess was a killer. He gets out and he's hiding as a barber, essentially. And it's a small town, and he has a dark secret, and somebody's trying to uncover it, and dun dun dun, he's a serial killer, and looks like it's going to be very tense and thrilling and suspenseful. And he's seeking revenge. So we'll see how that turns out. But like I said, the trailer looked fantastic, so really looking forward to checking that one out. Next up, I have 4 copies. 1 for me, 3 for you. I'm going to do a giveaway for this one. I know I have a bunch of giveaways I have to do. I've had issues with my camera. My first camera broke. Got another one. Then the file format isn't recognized by my video editing software. So I don't know. I have to figure something out about that. Somebody recommended me a site that can format or change the format of the files, but I'm not sure if that will degrade the picture quality or not. So I have to figure something out with that first, because when I do certain videos, I'm going to have to do editing, which is why I haven't done a lot of the full-on movie reviews and giveaways and stuff like that. But once I get that figured out, I'll have a bunch of giveaways coming your way, and basically say thank you for continuing to stick with me through all of this, and I really do appreciate it. But this is for These Final Hours, which I thought was actually a fantastic movie. I was really surprised by it. At first I thought it was a post-apocalyptic movie. It's not. It's an Australian apocalypse movie. And I saw the trailer. The trailer kind of took me out of it a little bit. It looked like it was going to be a little bit more dramatic. And I think that wasn't the case. It was actually a good mixture of drama and suspense. And I think the lead actor was fantastic in here. I hadn't seen him before, but he did a really good job. Sarah Snook was in here, who I'm a big fan of. She's stunning and talented. I think they kind of underutilized her a bit, but she was great in the role that she had. And basically it's the apocalypse. I think there's like 12 hours left. And this guy's trying to go to this big party and see his girlfriend. And he sees this girl, this little girl right here, that he's holding, and then there she is on the back. He sees these 2 guys take her, and she's screaming, and he thinks something bad is about to happen. So he basically saves her, and she wants to go find her dad to be with her, to be with him on the final hours, essentially, because the world's going to end. There's a big apocalypse coming, and they don't fully go into the apocalypse, but you see at the end what it is, and I wish they would explain a little bit more detail about what caused it. But so he's trying to help her out. At first he was a little bit hesitant to do so, but then he decides he's going to do one good thing before before it ends, the world ends. So he's going to help her find her father. So that's what they're basically doing. There's lots of crazy, violent people going on. It's the apocalypse. People, are out of their minds, doing drugs, killing people. It's just nuts. But I thought this was actually really good. This is from Well Go USA. They release a lot of Asian cinema titles, but they're doing also, they've done a few Australian films, and they do some good US releases as well. A few of my favorites from them are Frontline, a great war movie, Did Snow 2, great Zomcom, and then Bedeviled, one of my favorite horror movies of all time now. Definitely check out Bedeviled. I've mentioned it a ton of times. It's on my top 10 underrated horror movies on Blu-ray video list too, so check that out. This one I think makes the list for one of my top ones that they've released too. Drug War was really good. They've done some other ones that I've really enjoyed, but I think this one is one I really like. I like this kind of theme, apocalypse, the world ending, people kind of going crazy, the dark and gritty feel. There's some washed out tint to the movie that kind of reflects the tone as well. But I really dug this one, and I might do a full proper movie review for this too coming up soon. But there will be a giveaway. Next up is The Walking Deceased. This is a Walking Dead parody, and just seeing that guy's face right there cracks me the heck up. I want to know how come there hasn't been more Walking Dead parodies by now. I haven't seen any. This is the first one I've seen. Comedy with a Bite. It's a Zomcom, clearly. You can see the zombies down there. And it says, from none of the creators of scary movies, which I think that cracks me up too. But I'm surprised there haven't been more parodies of The Walking Dead. I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I expect it to be super cheesy, but I'm hoping it'll be entertaining cheese. And I can't wait for Walking Dead to come back on. I can't believe it'll wait till like October. It seems so far away. Next up from Lionsgate, this is the After Dark original horror movie Bedlam. Right from the beginning, there's spiders right there. I don't remember there actually being spiders in the movie though. There's spiders in the back too. I thought it was poisonous ants. I don't remember the spiders, but overall this movie was atrocious. It was very tedious, and it was a battle of attrition to sit through this, honestly. And they kind of abandoned the whole idea. This guy goes crazy right there. He commits himself to a mental institution, and they abandoned the whole idea of the suicidal mother and that he was sexually abused as a kid, like midway through the movie. And then from there on, it's just basically trying to battle against the abusive guards at the mental institution, and people being killed there and mistreated, and all the crazy things that happen to the patients. I like that some of the things that they do in this are probably real treatments that they used way back in the day to deal with mental illness, which is just crazy to think they did some of these things. But of course they take it to a whole new level, and they have the doctor who was a former like Nazi, and then they have these random commercial bits like thrown in there, kind of like parodying different drugs and stuff like that. I thought that was unnecessary and took away from the film. And then the ending just seemed like they didn't really know what the heck they were doing. It looked like they were just making it up as they went along, because the ending was terrible. And it looks like they just abandoned ideas. The lead actor was kind of shaky acting-wise, and then the lead actress was not good at all, in my opinion. But the supporting cast was pretty good. But overall, this movie was... I could not recommend it. It wasn't good. It was just kind of straightforward. I thought there was going to be more psychological horror elements. And they abandoned some themes to this pretty early on, and it didn't work really on any level. Some people are saying, why do you don't criticize movies if you can't make them yourself? Make better movies and you won't be criticized. I mean, there's some movies that I see that are released that I'm thinking like, wow, just maybe you and your friends who had a good time making it should see it, because not many other people will enjoy it. And I don't think really, there's nothing really to talk highly about this movie. Even usually if it's a movie that I don't like, I try to point out some good things about it. There's really... The best thing I could say about it is the supporting cast was decent in their roles. They did the best they could with what they had to work with. And the setting was kind of good at the mental institution, but besides that, rough to sit through. I could not recommend it. Next up is one I haven't seen, but it looks freaking awesome from the cover. Homicycle. That looks like an awesome like 80s kind of action, grindhouse-esque kind of feel to it right there. Love the heck out of it. He's hell on wheels. Kind of reminds me of Exterminator or Night School or Nail Gun Massacre right there. And they actually mentioned Nail Gun Massacre on the back too. So that's probably going to be some kind of influence on this perhaps. But again, I think immediately Exterminator was the first thing that I thought of. And then Night School, if you've ever seen that one. But this looks awesome. I can't wait to check this one out. Looks like some good blood right there. Love the heck out of that cover. I hope it lives up to that. Next up is Kill Granny Kill, which this looks like cheesy 80s-esque horror right here. It looks, I don't know if it's going to be horror comedy, but it looks comedic to me. And this one, these next few ones are from Bloody Earth Films right here. Camp Motion Pictures. Yep, that one too, Homicycle. And I think are the rest of them all I believe so. Yeah, Camp Motion Pictures and Bloody Earth Films. Yeah, so here we go. Kill Granny Kill. Looks like a crazy granny killing people. Can't wait to check that one out. I'm hoping it'll be cheesy entertainment. Looks like kind of a throwback to like an 80s style feel right there. Next up is Night Terrors. This looks like it's going to be a Christmas horror themed movie, which I've seen a bunch of Christmas horror themed movies lately that have been really bad. A lot of low budget ones. This looks like it's going to be super low budget. I'm hoping it'll be decent. The return of VHS horror. So again, I like throwback horror if it's done right. You don't necessarily need a big budget to do a good film. There's been tons of great low budget horror films, but I've also seen just lately, because anybody can make films nowadays. If you have a regular, even just whatever regular digital cameras, you can make films, found footage and all that. But there's so many people are making movies now, and some of it should just be left on YouTube. So I'm hoping this will be decent though. Looks like it's going to be a slasher. Santa Claus, hopefully. Dry Bones, with the cover right there, it looks like the exact cover of Rumpelstiltskin. Look that up if you want, if you're not familiar, but it looks like the same exact cover. And I've seen this similar cover used many times before too. But this looks like it's going to be kind of a creature feature right here, and some kind of creature coming out from underneath the bed, and that scene right there looks pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I wish they would have used a better cover though, because it looks like a straight ripoff of Rumpelstiltskin. Next up is Animosity, which I've seen the trailer for this. This looks like it's going to be really tense and violent. It looks like it's going to be psychological horror right here. They move into this abandoned house in the woods, and it looks like their neighbor is going crazy, or maybe she's going crazy. So this looks like it's going to be really taut. And next up is Spyfall, which looks like it's a parody of Skyfall. This honestly looks super low budget from the back. Honestly, I'm not too excited to check this one out from the back right there, but I'm going to do it for you guys. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be cheesy entertainment. I like cheesy entertainment sometimes, but a lot of times it just doesn't work. And there's a little turtle right there too. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it did win Best Comedy Feature Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival, which I've never heard. Did they make that up? I don't know. Is that a real thing? I've never heard of that one, but maybe there'll be enough cheesy entertainment and hot chicks in there to make this a fun time. I'm hoping right there. The cover looks fun, but the back of it looks kind of rough to sit through, but hopefully it'll be decent. Hopefully it'll surpass my expectations. I really have none for them. So if you've seen any of these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them as well. And then for the ones that I haven't seen, I'll include them in a future Blu-ray and DVD update and talk about them more in depth. Right there. And expect a giveaway for These Final Hours, which I really did enjoy. If you like apocalypse movies, I would recommend it. And Inherent Vice, I'll do a proper review for it. Kind of have mixed feelings on it overall, but actually all the reviews I've heard from her have been pretty mixed. Some love it, some hate it. I'm kind of right there in the middle with it personally. There's some things I really enjoy, other things I think could have used some work on it. But I do like Paul Thomas Anderson as a director, and I'm looking forward to see what he does next as well. And the cast is star-studded. But hope everybody's doing well. Take care.